Here is the fully rewritten script. You have been taking whey protein after every workout, but nobody told you the full truth. Millions of people train hard every single day, drink their shakes, and genuinely believe they have everything figured out perfectly. But there is one critical piece missing from almost every serious gym person's routine right now today. And that missing piece is silently and steadily destroying your long-term progress without giving you any warning signs. I did the exact same thing for years and had absolutely no idea what was happening inside my body. When I finally discovered this missing piece, everything I believed about post-workout nutrition changed forever completely. This is not about switching protein brands, buying expensive supplement stacks, or following some complicated new diet protocol. It is one simple addition that takes 10 seconds and permanently changes how your body builds and repairs itself. So if you are serious about your gains, your joints, and your long-term health, stay right here with me. Let me ask you one question that most people inside the gym cannot actually answer correctly when asked directly. When you train hard and drink your whey protein shake after your workout, what exactly do you think you are building? Most people immediately say muscle. And yes, that answer is completely correct and makes total obvious sense on the surface. But here is the part that almost nobody ever thinks about when they give that confident answer so quickly. Building muscle is only one part of what your body actually needs to grow strong and stay healthy long-term. Your body is not just made of muscle tissue sitting there alone doing all the important structural work by itself. It is also made of connective tissue, which includes your tendons, your ligaments, and everything that holds you together properly. And here is exactly where the real and dangerous problem begins for millions of gym people worldwide every single day. Your muscle and your connective tissue both need to grow together at the same rate without any exception whatsoever. If your muscle grows faster than your connective tissue can keep up, you are creating a serious structural problem inside. Think about building a house with incredibly strong, thick walls sitting directly on top of a very weak foundation underneath. The walls look powerful and impressive from the outside, but the entire structure underneath is fragile and ready to collapse. That is exactly what might be quietly happening inside your body right now. And you would never even know it. Now I want to introduce two important terms that are going to make everything click together perfectly for you today. The first is muscle protein synthesis, which most gym people have at least heard of somewhere before in their lives. Muscle protein synthesis is simply how your body builds and repairs your muscle fibers after every hard training session. When you lift weights, you create tiny tears in your muscle, and your body repairs them back stronger each time. Whey protein is excellent at triggering this specific process, and that is exactly why so many people rely on it daily. The second term is connective tissue protein synthesis, and this is the one that almost nobody ever talks about seriously. Connective tissue protein synthesis is simply how your body builds and repairs your tendons and ligaments after training properly. These two processes need to happen together simultaneously for your body to stay structurally balanced, healthy, and completely injury-free always. If one is firing hard without the other, you are quietly setting yourself up for a serious physical breakdown ahead. And here is where things get genuinely surprising, because brand new research just revealed something most people never expected at all. The study found that whey protein after a workout only boosts muscle protein synthesis and nothing beyond that important point. It does not contribute to connective tissue protein synthesis in any significant or meaningful way after your training is complete. But it actually gets even more surprising than that, and this next part is what changes absolutely everything completely. When you consume whey protein, your body experiences a measurable and real drop in available glycine levels right after consumption. You might be wondering what glycine even is, and why it should matter to someone who just wants to build muscle. Glycine is an amino acid that plays a critical and central role in building your connective tissue every single day. Without enough glycine available, your body simply cannot build or repair connective tissue the way it was designed to do. So whey protein is building your muscle while simultaneously lowering the very thing your connective tissue desperately needs to grow. Less glycine in your body means less connective tissue protein synthesis happening after every single workout you complete each week. You are building the walls of your house stronger every session, while the foundation underneath quietly gets weaker and weaker. Over time, this growing imbalance leads to nagging injuries that seem to appear completely out of nowhere without any warning. Tendon pain, joint aches, and chronic soreness that never fully disappears are all clear signs this imbalance is happening inside you. Most people immediately blame overtraining, poor form, or simply getting older when these problems start showing up in training. But the real issue is actually nutritional in origin, and the fix is far simpler than anyone would ever expect. Before we get to that solution, you need to understand exactly why this problem even exists in the first place. Think back to how human beings used to eat long before gyms and protein supplements were even a concept anywhere on Earth. Our ancestors were not eating trimmed chicken breasts and sipping whey shakes after a carefully planned morning workout session. They would hunt an animal and then consume the entire animal from nose to tail without wasting a single part. They ate the muscle meat, yes, but they also ate the tendons, the cartilage, the bones, and the gristle too. That whole animal way of eating gave them both muscle-building and connective tissue-building protein in every single meal naturally. They were getting both whey-type proteins and collagen-type proteins together without ever thinking or carefully planning for it consciously. Their bodies never faced this dangerous imbalance because their nutrition was naturally and completely balanced every single time they ate. But modern nutrition came along and changed everything, and unfortunately not all of those changes were actually good for us. We isolated whey protein because it works brilliantly for triggering muscle growth, and that part is absolutely and completely true. But in doing that, we stripped away the collagen component that nature always meant to be paired right alongside the whey. We took one piece of a complete nutritional package and started using it completely alone, as if that were somehow enough. That is exactly where this dangerous and widespread nutritional imbalance began for millions of hard-working people training seriously every day. The solution is not to stop using whey protein, because whey protein is genuinely one of the best supplements available today. The solution is to bring back what was always supposed to be there alongside your whey, and that thing is collagen. The research supporting this is becoming harder and harder to ignore, and the evidence now points in one very clear direction. Researchers divided subjects into groups and gave each group a different ratio of whey and collagen protein after training sessions. One group received 30 grams of pure whey protein on its own, with absolutely no collagen added to their shake whatsoever. Another group received 25 grams of whey, with 5 grams of collagen added together into their post-workout shake daily. A third group received 20 grams of whey, combined with 10 grams of collagen mixed together in their recovery drink. The final group received 15 grams of whey and 15 grams of collagen combined together in equal parts after training. All 4 groups completed the same solid leg workout before consuming their assigned protein combination at the exact same time. Researchers then measured blood markers continuously for 6 full hours to track exactly what was happening inside each person. All groups showed increased amino acid levels in the bloodstream after training, which was expected and not surprising at all. Muscle protein synthesis occurred across all 4 groups as well, and that result was also completely expected by the researchers. But here is where the results became genuinely interesting and honestly a little counterintuitive when the real data came through first. The groups with more collagen in their shake showed slightly lower leucine levels and slightly lower muscle protein synthesis readings. Your first reaction to hearing that is probably to think that sounds like a bad and very concerning result for you. But the reason for that small drop was completely simple and logical once you understand what was actually happening there clearly. They were replacing some of their whey with collagen, so naturally their leucine levels reflected that straightforward substitution completely. Leucine is high in whey and lower in collagen, so less whey simply meant slightly less leucine in the blood. But here is the part that truly matters. And this is the real headline finding from the entire study completely. As the amount of collagen increased in each group, the levels of glycine in the blood went up dramatically and consistently. The 5-gram collagen group showed 9 units of glycine appearing in their plasma levels after training and consumption that day. The 10-gram collagen group showed 23 units of plasma glycine, which is a significant and very meaningful jump upward. The 15-gram collagen group showed 40 units of glycine circulating in their blood, which was a massive and clear increase. More collagen directly and clearly equaled more glycine in the blood, and more glycine is an extremely important and good thing. Remember that glycine is exactly what your connective tissue needs to be synthesized, maintained, and properly repaired after every workout. So more collagen means more glycine, and more glycine means better connective tissue building happening alongside your muscle growth simultaneously always. But the study also confirmed one more critical detail that you absolutely need to hear and fully understand right now today. The groups that consumed only whey protein without any collagen saw their glycine levels actually drop measurably after consumption completely. This confirmed without any doubt that whey protein consumed alone directly depletes the glycine available inside your body after training. And lower glycine means your connective tissue synthesis is being quietly compromised, even as your muscles are visibly growing bigger daily. So what does all of this mean practically for someone who trains hard and wants to get the very best results? It means you should never reduce your whey protein intake to create space for collagen in your post-workout shake routine. Keep your whey protein exactly where it is right now, whether that is 30, 35, or 40 grams daily consistently. Then simply add collagen on top of your existing whey as an additional and complementary part of your post-workout nutrition. You are not replacing anything that is already working well. You are adding back the missing piece that was always meant to be there. Your muscle protein synthesis stays high, and your connective tissue protein synthesis finally gets the support it has always truly needed. Both systems inside your body are now being properly fed, and your body can finally build in a complete and balanced way. Now let us talk about glycine more deeply, because the story goes significantly beyond just its role in connective tissue synthesis alone. Glycine is turning out to be one of the most underrated and overlooked nutrients in the entire modern fitness world today. New research shows that glycine plays important roles that extend far beyond simply building and repairing your tendons and ligaments daily. There is now strong evidence that glycine is directly involved in actively preventing muscle wasting inside the body over time, too. A published study looked carefully at how glycine levels affect muscle cells specifically during recovery periods after training sessions occur. What researchers found was that there are special cells inside muscle tissue called muscle progenitor cells most people never hear about. These muscle progenitor cells are responsible for muscle growth, repair, and all protein synthesis happening inside your body after training ends. What researchers discovered is that these specific cells depend very heavily on adequate glycine levels to function properly and efficiently always. Without sufficient glycine available, these muscle progenitor cells essentially enter a state called cell cycle arrest inside the body completely. Cell cycle arrest means the cells stop growing, stop expanding, and completely stop doing their important job of building and repairing muscle. When glycine is not available in sufficient amounts, your muscles simply cannot grow the way they are designed and supposed to naturally. But when glycine is present and circulating at adequate levels, those cells grow and function exactly as your biology intended them to. The study also found that glycine from food or supplements actively encourages the expansion and growth of these critical cells significantly. This means glycine is not just a connective tissue amino acid the way most people in fitness have always assumed it was. It is also genuinely and directly a muscle-building amino acid, which completely changes how we should think about collagen supplementation forever. Most people in fitness know that leucine is the most important amino acid for triggering muscle protein synthesis after training sessions daily. Leucine is the amino acid that directly and powerfully initiates the muscle-building process more than any other single amino acid known. It is one of the primary reasons whey protein became so popular and so deeply trusted in the fitness world for decades. But here is something almost nobody knows about how leucine actually functions inside your body when it finally gets to work properly. Leucine does not work nearly as effectively when your glycine levels are low, and that is a genuinely massive and important deal. If you are under stress or experiencing inflammation, your glycine levels can drop significantly and quickly without you even realizing it at all. And when glycine drops, leucine loses a substantial portion of its ability to trigger the protein synthesis you are counting on completely. Research has shown that adequate glycine can allow leucine to trigger up to 51% more protein synthesis inside your body. Read that number again slowly. Because 51% more protein synthesis just from having enough glycine is not a small difference. That is an enormous and significant difference in how efficiently your body builds muscle from the exact same training sessions you already do. If you are training hard and also dealing with daily stress, you especially need to be deliberately focused on keeping glycine levels up. And the simplest, most practical, and most accessible source of glycine you can add to your routine today is collagen protein. This means collagen is not just supporting your joints while your whey does all the real muscle-building heavy lifting alone separately. Collagen is actually making your whey protein work significantly better and more powerfully than it ever possibly could on its own. These two proteins work together in a way that makes both of them more effective than either one could be alone separately. This is not a competition between two supplements fighting for space in your nutrition plan or your post-workout shake bottle daily. It is a genuine scientific partnership, and the research is now clearly and definitively confirming exactly that conclusion for all of us today. Think about what this means for someone who has been training consistently for years, but still hitting frustrating and unexplained plateaus regularly. Maybe the issue is not your training program, not your sleep quality, and not your total calorie intake or macros at all. Maybe the missing piece has been glycine all along and you simply never knew that it was what you genuinely needed most. Adding collagen to your post-workout shake might genuinely be the simplest and most powerful single change you can make right now today. And the beautiful reality is that it does not require spending a lot of money or changing anything complicated in your daily life. You simply mix it into your existing shake exactly the same way you always have, and drink it just like always before. No extra meals to plan, no complicated protocols to memorize, just one simple and clean ingredient added quietly to what you already do. If you eat steak regularly, try not to always choose the most perfectly trimmed and completely clean cuts every single time you cook. A little gristle on your steak is not something to avoid at all. It is actually a meaningful source of connective tissue protein. Ground beef naturally contains connective tissue, which means it carries a natural and built-in source of glycine in every single serving. Bone broth is one of the oldest and most reliable natural sources of collagen and glycine that humans have used for centuries. Chicken thighs with the skin left on contain significantly more collagen than a plain skinless and dry chicken breast ever will naturally. Slow-cooked meats like brisket, shank, and oxtail are absolutely loaded with collagen released from connective tissue during the long cooking process. If you regularly eat these whole food sources, you are already doing something genuinely right without even having fully realized it yet. But if you are training seriously and want a consistent and reliable daily dose, supplemental collagen makes everything far more simple and convenient. You get a precise and measured amount every single day without having to think carefully about what specific cuts of meat you bought. Just scoop it, mix it, drink it, and let your biology do exactly what it was perfectly and naturally designed to do always. The study specifically examined consuming both collagen and whey protein immediately right after the workout session was completed by all subjects. After training, your body is in a primed and highly receptive state that is ready to absorb and immediately use available nutrients efficiently. This is when both muscle protein synthesis and connective tissue protein synthesis are simultaneously at their most active and most responsive peak together. Consuming both whey and collagen right after training makes perfect physiological sense and aligns completely with how your biology works naturally. You are feeding both critical systems at the exact moment they are most hungry, most open, and most ready to respond fully. Some people also add collagen to their morning meal, and that is a perfectly solid and genuinely effective nutritional strategy too. But if you can only commit to one specific time of day, post-workout is almost certainly your single best option available consistently. Consistency over time matters far more than finding the perfect and most optimized timing window for taking your supplements every day. So pick a time you will actually stick to and make it automatic, simple, and completely non-negotiable in your daily nutrition routine. A practical and sensible starting point for most people is somewhere between 10 and 15 grams added to their post-workout shake daily. That range is where you start seeing meaningful and measurable increases in glycine that translate into real and noticeable physical benefits over time. You can go higher than 15 grams if you want to, and collagen is generally considered very safe at higher daily doses consumed. It is a food-based protein, not a synthetic compound, and it does not carry significant health risks at reasonable and consistent daily amounts. High-quality collagen is nearly completely tasteless and dissolves very easily in both hot and cold liquids without any problem at all ever. You will not notice it sitting in your shake unless you are specifically looking very hard for something unusual and strange to detect. It blends in seamlessly and does not thicken, clump, or change the consistency of your drink in any noticeable or bothersome way whatsoever. This makes collagen genuinely one of the easiest supplements to stick with consistently over the long term, without any real daily effort required. Athletes who train hard and heavy are placing enormous amounts of mechanical stress on their connective tissue with every single training session completed. The stronger your muscles become, the more tension and force is placed directly on the tendons and ligaments, supporting those growing muscles daily. If your connective tissue is not being built alongside your growing muscle, you will eventually and painfully feel exactly that growing gap. Older athletes especially need to take this seriously because connective tissue naturally takes longer to recover and rebuild as you age significantly over time. Your body produces less collagen on its own as you get older, which means that dangerous gap only continues growing wider over time. But younger athletes benefit enormously from starting this habit early, because building strong connective tissue habits now prevents many serious future problems. You do not want to wait until you are dealing with a painful tendon injury before you finally start thinking about collagen prevention seriously. Prevention is always far easier, far cheaper, and far less frustrating than months of slow and painful rehabilitation after a serious injury occurs. Tendons have extremely poor blood supply compared to muscle, which means they heal at a fraction of the speed muscle tissue does. Protecting your connective tissue through smart nutrition now is infinitely smarter than repairing damaged connective tissue painfully and expensively at some point later. Some people claim that collagen is an incomplete protein and therefore not worth taking because it lacks all essential amino acids completely. And technically speaking, they are correct that collagen does not have a complete essential amino acid profile the same way Whey does naturally. But that technical fact does not make collagen useless, inferior, or something you should casually dismiss from your serious nutrition strategy at all. It simply means collagen serves a specific and different purpose than Whey, and that important distinction is actually incredibly valuable to understand deeply. Whey provides leucine and the essential amino acids that your muscle specifically needs for growth, repair, and optimal protein synthesis after training daily. Collagen provides glycine and the specific amino acids that your connective tissue needs for proper synthesis, maintenance, and long-term structural integrity always. They are not competing against each other for a single role in your body or fighting for limited space in your post-workout shake. They are genuinely and powerfully complementing each other, and that is precisely and exactly how they should always be used together from now on. Together they form a more complete post-workout nutrition approach than either single protein source could ever possibly provide entirely on its own alone. Before protein powders, and before the modern fitness industry existed, human beings still built incredibly strong and remarkably functional bodies throughout history. Warriors, hunters, laborers, and farmers throughout all of human history developed remarkable functional strength without a single protein shake ever crossing their lips. They accomplished this by eating whole animals and consuming every part, including all the parts that are richest in natural collagen protein. Their joints stayed healthy, their tendons stayed strong, and their muscles stayed properly connected and anchored to their bones throughout their entire lives. They were unknowingly doing precisely what modern science is now clearly and definitively telling all of us we should be intentionally doing today. They were getting muscle-building protein from lean muscle meat and connective tissue protein from tendons, bones, cartilage, and gristle together naturally always. The result was a balanced, complete, and naturally optimized protein intake that modern supplement culture has quietly and unintentionally disrupted for us all over time. We became so intensely focused on muscle protein synthesis that we completely forgot about everything else the body genuinely needs to truly thrive. The fitness industry told us leucine was king and Whey was gold, and we accepted that incomplete and partial truth fully without question. And to be fair, that advice was not entirely wrong in itself. It was simply and critically missing an essential and powerful second half. Whey is gold and leucine is king, but glycine and collagen are the kingdom that the king actually rules over and depends on completely. Without the kingdom beneath the king, the entire structure has absolutely no foundation to stand on, and everything eventually and inevitably collapses underneath. So keep your Whey exactly where it is, add your collagen right on top of it, and feed your entire body completely. That is not a complicated overhaul. That is simply giving your body back everything it was always designed and meant to have naturally.